and young gun Billy Doering. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, for now, a beautiful Monday in Nashville. The problem? Looks like the rest of the week, it is just a bunch of rain. 55% tomorrow, 90% on Wednesday, 80% on Thursday, 90% on Friday. And you know, if we're getting it, Birmingham, Alabama, site of the SEC baseball tournament, likely to have a bunch of it as well. Anyway, we got a great show for you today. I mean, packed to the gills. 3:20, University of Houston Athletic Director Eddie Nunez, good friend of mine. Looking forward to hearing from Eddie, maybe getting a good Kelvin Sampson story or two. Will Healy, head football coach at East Tennessee State, formerly Austin Peay, will join us at 4 o'clock. And then Kelly's old running mate, Chris Doering, from the SEC Network at 4:25. I just got a text, Kelly, from Will Healy, who says, was just texting Doering, telling him I'm opening up for a legend.
In his own mind, he's a legend. That's for sure.
What's going on? Did you have a good weekend?
I did have a good weekend. You?
Yeah, it looks like Parker, can we sort of arrange this camera just a tad where it looks like
You're not in a dungeon?
5'2". Yeah. Okay, now I'm 4'11".
There we go.
Now we're getting somewhere. Stay beautiful.
I'm excited about the rain. We need some rain. Good gracious. I don't think I've ever seen it this dry in May.
It's gotten a little snap, crackle, pop.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the putt that won the PGA?
Unbelievable. I can't, I mean, like, you know, that guy played good, man. He's been around for a while, and he's been kind of, you know, looking back on it, he's been kind of nudging at winning here lately, and I just can't believe how he just kind of ran away with it yesterday, because you had everybody bunched up at like -6. They couldn't get past -6, and then all of a sudden he got -7, -8, -9 with that putt. And yeah, that putt kind of put it away, man. That was unbelievable. You dream of making a putt like that. I've been reading stuff about him today, and you know, he's the first Englishman, I think, since what, 1911 or 1913. Kind of crazy, man.
So Kelly, his 68-footer won the PGA. My 68-footer, because I have hit one.
Okay.
I've gotten one in that long. That took me from an 8 to a 7.
How did you know it was 68 feet, George? Did you measure it?
I mean, I'm just, you know,
just throwing it out there. It was a long way.
I mean, it taught, you know, it sounded good.
It was a long way. I mean, hey, never let the truth get in the way of a good story, correct?
What was it, a lie? Maybe.
Maybe. It's great.
Parker, that's one of the things you need to learn in this. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, because I'm sitting back here and I'm thinking to myself, he's never in his life hit a 68-foot putt.
Actually, I have.
Really?
I have. Yeah.
Kelly, are you buying that?
Last time we talked about golf with George had a 170-something yard par 3, and he used a driver. So that's all I need to know about George. You know what I'm saying, in golf.
Did it work?
Well, you said it got on the green. You said it did, which is unbelievable.
What more do you need? I mean,
video proof.
No, we don't have video proof. I will tell you this. This has been about 12 years ago. I hit a worm burner in July at Harpeth Hills on a par 3, number 6, and the thing just keeps bouncing right up there. And it gets within like less than a foot of a hole in one. So I go on the air at the beginning with the breaking news sounder, you know, because I need to brag. I've come very close to a hole in one. Was it majestic? No, it was a worm burner. But Kelly, God has a sense of humor, because 2 minutes into explaining it, I had a kidney stone attack.
That serves you right.
And Willie looks at me. You know, I know what it is, and the pain is god awful. So we go to the break early, and Willie looks at me and he goes, "Are you okay?" And I looked at him and I said, "Do I look okay? I'm going to the hospital. Y'all have a nice show."
Hey, yesterday Jim Nance was talking about something, and he brought up Harpeth Hills, and he brought up another one. I forget what was the other golf course that he brought up.
I just played Harpeth Hills.
Well, it's Percy Warner, because
Percy Warner, that was it.
His contribution has helped sort of reestablish Percy Warner, which is a great little, I'm not going to say par 3, but it's you know, first of all, it's got great charm, and a contribution he made helped get it over the top. So yeah, I can see that.
Right. Yep.
Okay, Parker, you have an update.
Yeah,
make it quick and make it good.
We're going a really dark place
For a
guys.
change. Make it good. Oh Lord. So this is your your breakfast.
Yep.
Okay.
There's me. There's Tony in Nolensville.
Mm-hmm.
We're both holding up the VU.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Mama's Pancake breakfast, as Kelly recommended. Tony got the Country Boy breakfast. We had a great time, other than the fact I was wearing complete garbage, but
it's not garbage.
Really? It's
That
not garbage.
It's won a national title, I'll have you know.
A couple of national titles there,
Yeah.
Parker.
So you might want to rethink that. Anyway, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Good
me too.
Lord.
Gosh, that was the worst 30 seconds of my life.
Yeah.
So we're going to put a pin in the PGA Championship conversation, because, guys, it's becoming official. The Super Bowl's coming to Nashville in 2030.
So I have put a call in. Actually, I put a text in to my buddy Butch Spearden, who probably has as much to do with that as anybody. I'm hoping he's going to be able to be on our show tomorrow to kind of say, okay, how did we get it to the goal line? Because Dan Patrick ultimately was right, but maybe not on the timing. It was still a little while away, and this is, our city deserves it.
Totally agree. Needs to have it. Already had the draft. Yeah, had the draft here and showed what the city of Nashville and the community can do and can handle stuff like that. And absolutely, when you get a new stadium like they're building right now, you deserve a Super Bowl.
Do not call our show and say we're not worthy, because there will be a penalty for that. Kelly will be sent to your home. And if he can't make it, Gruff Dog will. And I don't think any of you want that.
And then Basilio in line after him.
No.
Basilio.
No.
Guys, the Titans started OTAs today in other news, but here's the big puppy. Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby has filed a lawsuit against the NCAA today. His attorney, Jeffrey Kessler, who also helped him with the Cincinnati NIL lawsuit, the NCAA has responded. And they said that they have not received a reinstatement request for this case. So something to keep an eye out for.
Well,
there we go.
All of this is pretty predictable.
Mm-hmm.
You could see this coming. Helen Keller could see this one a mile away.
So we touched on the PGA. By the way, Aaron Ride, the first English-born golfer in 107 years to win the PGA Championship. Congratulations to him. It was a very uneventful day for Rory McIlroy and Xander Schauffele. I watched them. Their group pairing on ESPN Plus did not live up to expectations. But in the NBA, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, repeat MVP, 14th player in NBA history to accomplish that feat.
Nice effort by the Pistons. Way to keep it within 35. Good Lord.
I paid attention for the first half. After that, it was just background noise.
What is that? I mean, look, before the game ever happens, you kind of know if you've watched them that they are at least one score short. Cade Cunningham is terrific. Tobias Harris has been a really good second option through the first series and about half of the second series. After that, might as well be Kelly.
I'd be throwing them up too, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like James Harden throwing them up. Ball would get
Building
stuck.
a house with all those bricks, Kelly. Yeah,
that's okay. Hey, James Harden throws bricks sometimes too, but he still rolls with it.
And only the good officials that see him jump into the defender and then just suddenly fall.
Yeah.
The good officials are like, I'm not putting up with it.
Give me a break.
Move on. The bad ones continue.
So the conference finals are set. Thunder and Spurs, which anyone could have told you that was going to happen. And the Knicks and the Cavaliers. The winner's coming out of the West.
Not necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking the winner of the West.
Well, I mean, look, it's easy to say that, but is it possible that those two in the West beat each other up in a 7-game series, and the Knicks, who are pretty damn good, they're the fresher team going into the finals? Anybody thought of that?
But they've also had a week off, more than a week.
So,
yeah.
So George, you think the Knicks will take the Cavs pretty handily?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
really?
Knicks are going to the finals.
Yeah. The Garden will be rocking.
The Cavs have played 2 straight 7-game series. I would think they're pretty tired by now. And then they get the Knicks. The Knicks.
No, you stay out of that.
I can't even do it right.
He used to give you, Marv Albert would give you the Patrick Ewing and the Knicks. Thank you.
I love listening to Marv Albert. Is he? This is bad. He's still around, right?
He's with us, but he doesn't do games anymore.
Right. Yeah, I knew that. Now his brother does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to love when he would say rejected.
It's true. Dude, those are some good announcers back then, man. Really good.
Oh, Kelly. The Sabres. Just butt whooping on the Canadians on Saturday night in the Bell Center. 8-3 was the final. Game 7 tonight. And I'm not going to spoil George's bet, but the Canadians are winning Game 7. I have the script.
Yeah.
Think so, huh?
Sure you do.
I know so.
You don't know squat.
And if I'm wrong, I'll come on here and I'll wear the clown nose. But they're winning tonight.
You don't know squat.
Book it. It is happening. I'm so confident.
This is not your segment.
I'm so confident.
Plaster bet of the day is not yours.
I know, but I promise the Canadians are winning tonight. Yeah. It's going to happen.
Okay. I'd say put your money on Buffalo then.
Do
it. You'll lose
put your money where your mouth is there, young Parker.
Yeah.
Hoover is going to get the SEC tournament. Hoover's getting started tomorrow. Tennessee will be a 10 seed. Vandy is a 12 seed, and they will take on Kentucky in their first round matchup for the Vandy boys tomorrow. I believe at 12:30.
Does Tennessee play somebody?
Tennessee is. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on. I had the
what in the world?
I had it pulled up in front of me, then I just lost it.
This big orange fruitcake. Don't know who the Vols are playing.
Give me a second on
this. This is irresponsible.
I mean, your blood runs orange, Parker. Seriously?
There's so many teams that are clumped together there at the bottom.
What a joke! What a joke! This has become a joke session.
Versus Oklahoma. That's a good thing.
Where's your watch party?
Here, because we'll be doing the show while they're playing. I'm sure. So
for Tennessee,
they play at 4:30 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll be wrapping up.
Are you done?
No. One more thing.
God.
Aaron Rodgers, 1-year deal with the Steelers, up to $25 million. That became official on Saturday. They're stuck in a cycle.
Wow.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are stuck in a cycle, and it makes me sick.
What do you care?
I want the Steelers to do good. I enjoy watching
the playoffs
them.
last year, though.
Good. But they're in this cycle. They're never bad enough to get a high first-round pick, and they're never good enough to compete for a Super Bowl. What are we
Parker,
doing?
I had to play them twice a year a long time ago. So if they lost every
I know how you
game, I
feel
wouldn't
about it.
care.
You're a brownie. I know how
hate
you
the
feel about it.
Steelers.
Yeah. I
Flipping
enjoy
hate the
watching them,
Steelers.
so.
I hated having to play against them. The Dick LeBeau stuff where all that zone blitzing and you had to stay up and watch extra film. I hate that crap.
Poor baby.
I know.
Oh.
I can't stand the Steelers. If they lost every game, it'd be fine.
And the Tennessee Lady Vols, congratulations, advancing to the Super Regional for the 4th time in 4 years, and they'll take on Georgia.
Okay.
Belmont did not make it, though. They did play good. They played good. Maya Johnson was on Feinbaum on Friday.
She's pretty good.
She did a great interview with him.
She's really good.
Yeah.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Thank God. Wow. Try to steal other segments. This is not going to happen.
George, be nice. Be nice, George.
After the break, an old friend, University of Houston Athletic Director Eddie Nunez will join us, and hopefully Kelly will not embarrass the show and go, "Why are you friends with him?"
I won't say it. I want to say it, though. Good gracious.
Stay tuned.
I won't say it. I'm not going to say it all the time, but I want to say it every time.
This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
So I take it that is the University of Houston's fight song.
Roll Cougs.
Okay, if you say so. Eddie Nunez about to join us. He is the athletic director at the University of Houston. And for those of you who go back a ways, he was a Vanderbilt Athletic Department employee years ago. He's also a former Florida Gator basketball player. And, it's been pretty cool to watch him rise up the ranks. He got the AD. First of all, he ended up at LSU, where he was basically the right-hand man there, then got the New Mexico athletic director job, now is the head man at the University of Houston. He joins us from his palatial office.
Yeah.
Let's pull him up and see what's going on there. Eddie, how are you?
Well, first of all, far from my palatial office. And you gave me, I will say that was probably one of the better runways. And I don't know about the Vanderbilt, if anybody still remembers me from back in those days. That was a long time ago.
It has been a while ago. So you have dealt with a great basketball coach at Florida, I think, in Billy Donovan. And now you're watching Kelvin Sampson. What's the common denominator between those two that you're like, okay, this is what drives them?
It's the ability to evolve and adapt, the culture that they have within their program. That was one of the things that I learned very quickly from Coach Donovan when he got to the University of Florida, was establishing a culture that's unlike everything else. It's a work ethic. It's coming every day, bringing it, but also having a respect for the process. So they both attack it with the same mindset, the same work ethic. They do it a little bit differently, of course. And I've really come to enjoy Coach Sampson and how he approaches it, understanding the ability to have what's, I think, more important than anything else is continuity with your staff. That is key. Both of them had it and allowed both of them to have success throughout their careers.
Eddie, help me with this.
Yep.
I have thought for about the last 5 years that when the University of Houston is on their A game defensively, that there is nobody in the country better than them. What in the world do their practices look like?
I will tell you, one of the most intense things I've ever been a part of. When I got here, people used to say practices are intense and they're crazy. No, they're every minute they're on that court, they're maximizing the time, the energy. The drills are all out. But what's more important or pretty impressive is how they support each other, the energy. It's actually a fun. He gets after it. Don't get me wrong. He pushes those kids to, if you really come to play for Coach Sampson, you have to understand that he's going to push you to your point where you're uncomfortable. But that's what allows them to be successful at the next level and what allows them to really be leaders on the court. So, I've been very impressed with those practices. They're intense. They're aggressive, probably more than many of. I've been around some unbelievable basketball coaches, and I've been around some unbelievable football coaches. His are probably one of the top, if not the best.
So he came out last year and said, look, of all these schools that are out there, we're small money and all that kind of stuff. And I know it's not like the University of Texas or a couple of others, but what is the University of Houston athletically in the NIL world?
We compete we are the full max. We compete with everybody and more. I mean, we would not be able to do what we're doing in the basketball. We would not be able to have 10 wins and a bowl game victory with Coach Fritz. Our programs across the country. I mean, if you look at our golf programs, even all the way down to track, we've got the best of the best here, and we have an ability because of this great city. It's what I think people miss most. We might not have the biggest budget because we're still growing as a P4 program, but what we do have is more Fortune 500 companies basically minutes away from us. We've got the largest one of the most populated cities in the world, in the city, of course, in the United States. But when you think about 8 million people in our businesses, we're the energy epicenter of the world with Exxon, Shell, Marathon Oil, you name it, they're all here. We have to tap into those resources, and we have now. Since I've arrived here, we've embarked on more partnerships with them. That's what's allowing us to have a chance to be successful. When Coach came out and said we were poor, I think he even said it wasn't the right way to approach it. I appreciated him because he called me next day. He's like, I don't think I said the right thing. I said, Coach, listen, man, we got this. We're good. And I do. I appreciate him because he was very honest with me. And what he was trying to say is we've made huge strides. We can't go backwards. But again, after a post game, when he was asked a question, he is who he is. He's just going to tell you what's on his mind.
And you were not going to say, listen, we're going to have to get rid of you.
No, listen. Again, I respect him. He respects me. I'm a basketball person, and by my trade, he knows I've been around some of the great coaches. And he said to me, he goes. I said, Coach, we got it, man. It's good. So he was great. He was great.
So Kelly, try to be nice. Don't ask anything stupid.
Eddie, I always have to say this, man. But I apologize for your relationship and friendship with George, man. I'm sorry.
I'll take it every time. I really will. And by the way, don't get me wrong. I did see the Twitter where I'm the lead act for the headliner, which is Chris Doering. He was back in the days of Florida grad when I was there. So I appreciate to be the one to start off the show here for him.
Chris is one of my better friends, man. We played together when we were with the Colts, and Chris, I try to get Chris always to stay. I said, man, you need to stay up here during the offseason, but he always wanted to go back and be mayor of Gainesville. So, he's
been
kind
that since he was in college.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, man. But we're really good friends. So let me ask you this. How much has, this is cool to have you on, but like how much has the AD responsibilities changed with this new landscape of college sports?
Yeah, I think it's a discussion we have constantly within not just ADs, but in general. And I think, Candace and many others in that, and not just at Vanderbilt, but at Tennessee and other ADs across country will tell you the same. We've really now more than ever become CEOs. And I don't like to just use that term. I use it as a reference so people have an easier understanding of what that means. We are now more of a vertical looking at the external factors of our department and every which way how we've always done that. But now, since it's become more of a business than ever, we have to think a lot differently than the old school athletic directors. I came up this business with some of the greats, athletic director greats that helped me understand. I had to also adjust and learn and say, okay, you know what? There's things that we need to look at differently. So yeah, it's a corporation, it's a business, but we have a uniqueness that we're still under a model, which is called the higher education. So we still have to make sure that everything we do, we're aligned with the university academically and the mission. And so it's what makes it unique. And I love it because that aspect of the campus as well as athletics makes it fun. It really does.
Yeah, the NIL is something that's going to be here. I used to say that. I can remember talking to my coach in college. Yep. Guys need something, and I think it's gotten a little bit out of hand, but that's where we are. But here's what bothers me is the transfer portal, man. We've got to do something about the transfer portal. Like, that was a cool thing about when I went to school. I got to have a relationship with my coaches. I got to have a relationship with the guys, my players, my teammates. I got to stay in the dorm. But nowadays they're not getting this. But like, what do you think will be done about the transfer portal, if anything?
That's one of the key areas that needs to be addressed. No ifs, ands, but I think you ask every coach, any administrator. Look, we all appreciate and want to give the student athletes the ability to move around, but there has to be a limit, and that is for anyone because at some point that will give us the ability to either move forward with an understanding. Having one portal window allows a little bit more clarity for our coaches, but it's still not perfect. So we have to refine this. We have to get it right. It's the challenge here is not every sport's the same. Not every sport's in the same time window. So you can't say it all happens under this umbrella. But I am a big believer that the first thing we need to do is get our arms around the transfer portal. Make sure that because the academic component, which everybody keeps just, highlighting here and there, that's going to be a bigger concern here as we keep going down this road. Right now, we're still collecting data on how the student athletes that are transferring 3 or 4 times, how it's affecting them and how they matriculate all the way through. That's also becoming a challenge for universities. You got to think about it. A lot of the universities, when they think about rankings and everything else are tied to the 4-year graduation rates. Every one of these kids are going to be now in possibly 5 years or so. There's a lot of other factors that we need to consider in this conversation.
When, a couple of years ago, conference realignment was the deal. And, I'm not a fan of it because I wish the Pac-12, I mean, I grew up with the Pac-12. I wish the Pac-12 could go back the way it was. Maybe one day we'll get there. But do you think conference realignment is over, or will we see some more of that in the future?
Conference realignment's never over. If you just, I did a study on this when I was at New Mexico, just because we were trying to make sure that we put the University of New Mexico in the right place as I was there. And I mean, you can go back history upon it, and there's always been realignment. There's always been a change. School has started somewhere. I mean, people always like to talk about Tulane was in the SEC at one point. That's that's the reality. It will change again. Now, what that next iteration is, we all can speculate, but I think there will be another change. It may be one or two, or maybe a bunch. But I think that it's never done, because that's just the way the world works. Some schools continue to grow and feel like they have an ability to move up into a different classification, and they should have that right to if they put themselves in that position.
So everybody keeps talking about this super conference in football, and we all know football. You're a basketball guy, but the super conference, the football kind of makes things go.
Yep.
But you got the Big Ten. They're going out west and gotten all those Pac-12s, and then the ACC's got some of them as well. But do you see everybody coming to the right sense of mind and saying, let the football do what they do, and let's go back? Because basketball, the NCAA tournament, the basketball tournament is where the NCAA really rolls. And I'm afraid at some point these football teams are going to split off. Is that what everybody's talking about as ADs, or is that actually going to happen, or is it going to be the same model as we're at now?
No, there's some valid points to what you just said about the splitting off into football. I mean, as we talk about it, that's what's driving a lot of the decisions. We understand that. I mean, spending a lot of time at not just Florida, and even Vanderbilt, being in the SEC, but going to LSU, understanding what football does for a university, for athletics. It is why we have to continue to invest here. We want to not just be a one year. We have to have sustainability here for the success of the university, for athletics, and every which way or how. Is there a possibility that down the road here that there may be a football-driven conference? Is it under an umbrella of the CFP? All these different things that people have thrown out over time after time. It has valid points, and I think that we have to continue to do this. If we're trying to put college athletics in the right position, we have to consider everything. I am a traditionalist at heart. I love the SEC, love the Big 12, love my time at the Mountain West. I think those traditions were great. But you guys mentioned earlier, some of these kids don't even understand what tradition means anymore. They don't come to a university and say, wow, I mean, look at such and such, Andre Ware played football here. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. Some of these kids are saying, who's that? And that's the hard part. You sit there and think, what are we doing? And so we can't lose some of those traditions, some of those rivalries, because it's important in the overall landscape of college athletics.
My last thing here. You talked about some Fortune 500 companies down there in the Houston area, but we had a guy on the show last week talking about, a lot of these teams have billionaires. All you need is one. You have billionaires. But are you finding it hard, because we've got collectives, and then, supposedly we got the salary cap issue, but then we got these collectives, which doesn't have anything to do with the other. But if you go back to the same people, are those same people still giving every year? And are you running into anything where they're saying, hey, I can't do this anymore, and I know it's evolving, and you're having to go and get other companies, but how is that working when you go back to the same people trying to get money from the same folks?
Well, I think this is across the board, every institution. This is not just here. Donors are fatigued, and I think there is that out there. You could have a billionaire. We're fortunate to have one. With Tillman Fertitta, he has done so much for not just the athletic department here, but for this university. The reality is, he's the first person to say, what else are we doing? Because, we can't just go and penny pinch everybody. We have to think differently. And that's where when I started and said about the Fortune, that's what makes us unique. And we have to find ways to partner with these companies, these energy companies, we have a company that we did business with, Group One one of the largest automobile dealers in the world, and they're here based in this city. We did a partnership with them that is bringing now 6 to 7 figures to this department. Why? Because we thought about it differently, we approached it differently, and what it does is it allows our donors, the billionaires or the millionaires, whomever, or even all just way down to our fans, know that we are doing things to get everybody and take the village approach. So it's a reality that fatigue is out there. Yes, you can have one billionaire and they can do that, but at some point that may be not the only path for you. So if you're going to do it right, you have to try to cast the net as far as you can and try to bring in as much opportunity as possible for the institution.
So Eddie, you look west in the state of Texas and you see what they're doing in Lubbock. You see Cody Campbell, and he's been very outspoken and, donating a lot of money to the Matador Club. You see what they were able to do in football this year, what they're trying to do this year. Has that sped up things for you and the rest of the Big 12, just seeing what they're doing with their NIL collectives?
What it does is it makes you aware of those are the ones who we're competing against. When it comes to, as I like to remind people, academically, we're much better than most of those institutions in the state of Texas, above Texas Tech, and it's great. But the reality is what we need to do is show everybody that we can not just compete in every sport with Texas Tech, with Baylor, with TCU, those that are in our league that we compete against. Of course, we got A&M in Texas and some of those other foes, and that's okay. We appreciate what they're doing. We get it. If you have that ability to do it, we understand it. What we have to do is make the most of what we can do and keep building it. I'm not here I can't compare myself apples to apples with them and say, okay, they've gone out and put $30 million into the program. We got to go put 30. No, we got to do everything we can possibly do and get the best coach that we have to make sure that he maximizes. And look, I have a football coach in Willie Fritz who everywhere he's gone, he's won championships. He's done it at a high level. Last year, winning 10 games, beating LSU in the bowl game at the Texas Bowl. Fast forward, he has the number one football recruit in the country, or top quarterback in the country that came here. So the recruits are happening, and we aren't at the same level as Texas Tech. That's fine. But we know that if we do what we can, we maximize our efforts, we have a shot. And so it's not, I'm not going to sit here and be frustrated or compliment them or, you know what, we just got to take care of what we can do here.
So a really hot button topic that we've been discussing the last week is this idea of a 24-team college football playoff. The commissioner of the Big 12, Brett Yormark, has come out and said that he is in support of that. What have your conversations been like with him regarding a 24-team playoff, and how would you feel about that?
I think, for me, I think opportunities, there's 130-something teams in division in FBS, and the question goes back to we need opportunities more than just the number. So if 24 is that magical number that we can all wrap our arms around, so be it. I look at basketball, and here we are. We're growing our basketball tournament. We all still remember when it was a 64 team, and then it became this and it became that, and now it's my point with this is it's never going to be the exact number. Someone's always going to say, well, there's always going to be somebody left out. I do think it is the best for college football to grow, to allow more opportunities for other teams that have the ability and should have the opportunity to compete in the playoffs. Brett has been, our commissioner has been very supportive of this from day one, just because we know that what we're investing as a league and where our teams are, and we feel like we, as well as all the other conferences, should have a chance and have more teams available to compete.
So this is just for me personally, because I want to know, I'm thinking back 2 years ago when Houston played Florida in the Final Four, you being a former Florida player and now the AD at Houston, what was that night like for you?
So I learned this actually back when I was at Vanderbilt. I remember Billy Donovan coming in with his basketball team, and I was working administration. I was out of coaching, and it was one of those times that I caught myself almost cheering for the Gators. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm working at Vanderbilt. I got to stop. But what I learned very quickly then is, look, I'm at this place. I got to appreciate it. When I got to LSU, that pretty much was set in my fabric of who I am. I had that game. I was probably the most miserable I've ever been after losing that game. I wanted to win so bad for our coach, our program. I know how much goes into getting to that point, and we had our team I felt we deserved it, and to lose it the way we did, it was a heartbreaker. People were like, "Well, you should probably felt great either way." No. I wanted to walk out of there with my arms up high, and as much as I love the Florida Gators, I'll cheer for them any other time, but not when they play the Houston Cougs. So I wasn't too happy. I'll leave it at that.
What is the best Kelvin Sampson story that comes to your mind? I'm sure there are plenty, but if you had to pick one.
Honestly, I laugh. I enjoy this time of year because coaches has such a great personality. And the problem is people try to get to know him during the basketball season. And like any coach, and I've been around Coach Saban when I was at LSU, I mean, coaches that are driven the way they are know that there's a process to get to where they are. So they just got their blinders. Just seeing him this time of year, like we're leaving tonight, we've got a coach's caravan in Dallas, and we're about to jump on a plane to head on up there. And just to be around him and see him interact with our fans during this time of year, it's almost refreshing, but it's fun to watch our fans because they're almost scared to walk up to him. And once he starts talking and cracking jokes, they see how fun he is. So honestly, more than anything else, I appreciate him for trusting the process and giving me a chance here to help him help this program continue to grow as much as it can.
So this will be my last thing. I was watching a Houston game, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and they showed that graphic on the screen of the whole team running a sub 4 minute or something like sub 5 minute mile, and they're all shirtless. They all have six packs. They're built like action figures. And I knew that the program was really intense, but when they showed that graphic on the screen, I'm like, man, like playing for Kelvin Sampson is something different.
Yeah, our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Bishop, is you talk about intense. He's been wooed and wowed by every professional NBA team. They all want him because of what his program is. Coach Sampson has an expectation, and he executes it like to perfection. I mean, they're doing stuff in the sand. They're doing hills. They're running the track. They're doing sprints. It is as intense as it's ever been. Like I go out there and I've seen some of these things, and I feel like I need to walk away because I'm almost embarrassed. I'm like, this is you almost feel like you want to go out there and say, all right, I could do this. And then you realize, no, I can't. This is not even but it's a part of the process. Coach Bishop, what he has done to take the lead from Coach Sampson, he is one of the main reasons that that program has a physicality, but also has the mindset to be able to play at the level they do.
Eddie, keep the dress shirt on. It's a lot more safe that way. If you got
I'm not touching it.
Yeah,
hey, listen, I still work out in the mornings. I still work out in the mornings early, and I literally go work in the weight room while they're out there. I have no interest to want to participate with them.
Hey, you were really good to do this, and I appreciate it.
Always, anytime. You guys know I appreciate what you do. I'm a little upset that you took off and went to have some coffee and hang out with everybody else while we continued here. You didn't stay on with us.
No, I just get
it's okay, man. It's okay, Vlad. I appreciate it.
That's not what happened.
I mean,
why?
I know how this show goes. I'm gonna have to go there one of these days and help out from the studio.
I was riveted to every word you said.
You're full of it.
Some of those words I don't think you knew when you were in Nashville.
Eddie, he went and did some push-ups, man. You can tell his physique, man. He's working out now.
Yeah, he's doing something. He's got the dumbbells over here. Kind of, I can have the polo on today. And I understand.
Yeah, sure they are. Go get on a plane. Do something constructive. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great one. See you guys.
That's a good one right there. He's been a good friend to me for a long time. Eddie Nunez, Kelly, it was really cool to watch him come up in the ranks because at Vandy, I'm sure he was sitting there going, what possible path is there? Well, he found the path.
Yeah, you can tell he's good too, man. He's got a personality. That's what you
Got a
need as
great
an athletic
personality.
director. Yeah, absolutely. You have to go out and get it. And now their job descriptions have changed, George and Parker. Y'all know that. And they have to go out. They have to raise money. They have to talk to people, unlike anything they've ever had to do before. But you can tell that he's got a really good personality and he fits.
And trust me when I tell you this, when Will Healy comes on at 4, the same kind of personality, born fundraiser.
Yep. That's what you got to be now.
Yeah.
When he's in your room, you better hold on to your wallet. There are a bunch of people listening today in Clarksville going, you do know him. We'll talk about it with him at 4 o'clock, but we got to go to the break. And then a few thoughts on what you heard from University of Houston Athletic Director Eddie Nunez on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Baseball is just like music. You don't believe me? Let me show you. It's jazz, improvised and unpredictable. It's rock. The crowd explodes like a guitar through a wall of amps. It's rap, fast, sharp, all rhythm and timing. It's country, nothing but 3 outs and the truth. Do you believe me now? Look, no matter what music you're into, the hottest track in town, Nashville Sounds Baseball. Welcome to Hit City.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
Clarksville, get ready. Because when the doors open at F&M Bank Arena, the noise rises. The walls shake. And the Cats take control. Fast plays, big hits, non-stop arena football. Get in the den. Get your season tickets now.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. It's
the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We're back on a Monday afternoon where I guess we're creating a little bit of the news. This being a slower time, it's good to be able to get some good guests on and find out where some of them are. Kelly, to me, the University of Houston has made 2 really good decisions. And those of you who are watching by podcast, you'll get a better opportunity here. Parker, let's put the stadium shot up there. This stadium's been open, I'm going to guess 6-7 years. And no, it's not the big house at Michigan. It's about a 40,000 seat football stadium. Kelly, I think it was the perfect size for the University of Houston.
I do too. When you think about Houston being, they have all the professional sports teams there, but like it was nobody really considers it to be one of the big time deals, but now it's in the Big 12. They're getting bigger. They've got a great athletic director that we just spoke to, and I don't understand. I don't know. He just talked about having one of the highest recruits that they've ever had. Coach Fritz, who was at Tulane and then took the Houston job. So, I think the sky's the limit for a University of Houston. Now, I got to ask y'all: do you think that they would be one of, like, if the football did split off, do you think they would be one of the teams to go with that group?
If they are, they need to give Kelvin Sampson a bonus because he'll be the biggest reason that they move on.
I kind of agree with you, man. It's I don't know, but Houston is such a big city and it's such a big place, and you don't really think about the Houston Cougars except for Kelvin Sampson. Like football wise, he talked about Andre Ware. I can remember when they had that run and shoot, and they were throwing the ball all over the place, and that was the big thing back in the day. But they've never really had that kind of moment where they've been considered one of the big dogs. And it's such a huge city, George, and you just don't understand that, It's different.
Yeah. The football team is going to have higher expectations this year. Oh, they have a lot of good returning pieces. The recruiting has been really good. Willie Fritz has won everywhere he's went. That's what Eddie was telling us. So they got 10 wins last year. I expect the football team to build off of that. They're probably not going to make a 12-team college football playoff, but they will certainly be in contention.
The other piece of it is he brought up the big gun there, Fertitta. Yeah. This just in the basketball arena is the Fertitta Center for obvious reasons. That's sort of their JRU-ing wannabe. And Kelly, it's not one of these 15, 18,000 seat giants. It looks like it's about 9 or 10, and that place is a snake pit.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a wannabe, if he's a billionaire, George. You know what I'm saying? And, Tony talked about it last week, but you have to have that. But that's why I wanted to ask him about that, because we've talked about it all the time on this show about, people, fatigue in college athletics when you go out and you try to get, you try to raise all this money through these same donors that are doing that. And there is some fatigue. But when you do have a billionaire, or maybe you have a couple of billionaires, that certainly eases things, because, when they can give money and it doesn't even bother them. So that's what all these colleges and universities have to find now. They have to find these people that are willing to give that's got lots of money, that they don't care if you come back each and every year, each and every week. They'll still give money.
You want the saying? It's a deck chair off the Queen Mary.
For them, it absolutely is, which is crazy to me. But that's true.
I love how he just came out and said it. Like, yeah, they are getting fatigued, which is where we were worried this thing was heading all along. So hopefully that gets fixed, though, Kelly. I just don't have a lot of faith right now.
Well, the one thing I wonder about right now, because 2-3 years ago, you were hearing it huge, that eventually it's going to break off with the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
I hope that never happens, because I think that's a dark day for college athletics.
I'm with you. I hope that doesn't. And he talked about him being a traditionalist, and I think I'm that way. I think, George, you're that way. I don't know about Parker. He's a younger guy, but
he
seems like he's a traditionalist. Yeah, he seems like a traditionalist guy. So
I want the Pac-10.
Yeah, and I want the Pac-10. Absolutely. I mean, let's do that. Let's come to senses on some of this stuff, and if the football does want to do their own thing, okay, y'all have at it. But then let's go back to the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever you want to call it. Let's play basketball and volleyball and baseball out on the West Coast, and let's not have to come to Rutgers to play, or to Penn State to play, Happy Valley across the country. Let's don't do that. Let's come to our senses and figure all this stuff out.
Who thought that would be a good idea?
I don't know. I guess the powers that be.
Power brokers aren't
By the way,
considering that stuff.
You'll start hearing this more with gas prices going up the way they have been, and teams finding that, where does that, end up on travel plans? Well, I think we all know where it ends up.
Yeah, when Miami had to go to Cal a couple nights ago for a football game, and they had to drive all the way there, how much do you think that cost? Well, in today's landscape, how much would that cost?
Miami driving to Cal a couple of days ago.
Their equipment, not a couple days ago, a couple of years ago.
Said.
No, a couple of years ago for football.
Yeah, they
just
drove
said a couple of days.
Yeah, they had to drive the equipment.
Yeah. Okay. So here's where we're going. To start the 4 o'clock hour, ETSU football coach Will Healy. A lot of you in the Clarksville area will remember. Really great job he did for the Governors and a great fundraising job to upgrade their facilities. Chris Doering from the SEC Network at 4:25. It's a full show. Stick around on the George Plaster Show.
Smashville lives here. Here's a shot, he scores! Still behind the net, a one-timer! Preds score! Your home for Preds hockey is 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Droplight is a venture studio. We don't sit on the sidelines. We build inside the brand. From stadiums to festivals to the fastest tracks in the world. We turn brands into something people feel. Turning ideas into traction, partnerships into pressure, and momentum you can't ignore. This is Ignition. This is Droplight. Fuel for brave brands.
Visit droplight.com.
Hey, it's Willie Donick for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. If your home needs an upgrade, start with Pella Windows and Doors. And Energy Star says you can cut utility bills by about 12% with energy-efficient windows, and Pella delivers that. Their proper sealing and insulation help keep moisture out, preventing rot and costly damage. And installing Pella windows pays off. The 2025 Cost versus Value Report shows homeowners recouped up to 75% at resale. Upgrade smart. Choose Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaNashville.com.
Hey guys, Big Joe from my friends over at Busy Bee. Listen, I'm a Beehive member and I want you to be one too because it is awesome. Listen what they got going on right now. Special financing for new HVAC units. Up to 12 months, no payment, no interest. Also, you get a free Yeti Tundra 45 cooler with the purchase of a 17-SEER or higher efficiency HVAC unit. Busy Bee has it all. That's why they are the best. Check them out today, busybeehvac.com.
Call 775-7833.
This is the Commodore Report, brought to you by Gary Force Acura.
Headed to Hoover and postseason tee times. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. After closing the regular season with a 3-game sweep of South Carolina, Vanderbilt baseball now preps for the SEC tournament. The Commodores are the 12th seed and play the second game on Tuesday in Hoover against Kentucky, with the winner getting 5-seed Florida. Vandy is the defending champion of the tourney, which takes on added meaning this year, with the team needing multiple wins to have a chance to get to an NCAA regional after going 14-16 in conference play. The Vandy boys have hit a program record 107 home runs, but only one of those in the series with Carolina. A 3-run go-ahead shot by Riker Wade in Saturday's 5-3 win. The positive impact of first-year hitting coach Jason Esposito has been noticeable throughout the lineup. And head coach Tim Corbin says it's been a learning process for Espo as well.
He's coming from professional baseball into college, and it's uniquely different in its own way in terms of the communication, how much you want to communicate, which is probably the biggest thing because these are still young kids. He's helped those hitters tremendously.
Under Esposito's watch, Vanderbilt is top 5 in the SEC in several categories, with 6 players hitting double-figure home runs. Tomorrow's tourney game with Kentucky should start around 1 o'clock after Ole Miss and Missouri play in the opener. NCAA tournament play begins today for Vanderbilt men's golf at the Athens Regional hosted by Georgia. 3 days of stroke play with the top 5 teams advancing to Carlsbad for the national championship. VU is the number 3 seed in the regional, which also includes top-ranked Auburn. That is the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan.
This is a Game Nashville Sports Network weather update.
Here is your latest Middle Tennessee weather. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low around 73. Tuesday brings a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 92. Tuesday night, a 50% chance of storms develops after 1 a.m. Wednesday sees showers and a possible thunderstorm with a high near 84. From the Game Nashville Sports Network, I'm Selma Bouvier.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
I'm Emmett Smith. Opioid poisonings cause the most accidental deaths in the U.S., and I've lost loved ones. But now I'm prepared to save a life. Just remember, lay, spray, stay. Lay the person on their back, use Narcan nasal spray, Dial 911 and stay with the person until help arrives. Continue to administer additional doses as needed. An opioid poisoning can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Always be ready to rescue. Learn more at readytorescue.com.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. When was the last time the San Antonio Spurs won the NBA Finals?
Kelly, I think it was 98, but I can't swear to it.
Well, it was the wasn't it the Tim Duncan years?
And probably some David Robinson, the Admiral.
Yeah, but was it that far back though, George?
I don't know. I don't either. Go ahead and put it up there. Let's see what we got.
Just say it was a lot closer to time than 98. So 2014, they defeated the Miami Heat 4-1.
Yeah.
That was a fun team.
We were made to look bad.
Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker.
Tony
They
Parker.
had a good squad.
That's pretty good stuff. That's a pretty good team
squad.
they put together. Okay, officially, as opposed to unofficially, we welcome all of you into the 4 o'clock hour from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Kelly, a few days ago, we're on the air, and I get a text from Will Healy, head football coach at East Tennessee State. He was in town or driving through town recruiting. Here are a couple of things I can tell you about him. A born recruiter. He may not have known it when he started, but he was also a born fundraiser. Some of the fundraising he did to upgrade Austin Peay football equipment when he was there is legendary. Let's bring him to our microphones. He's now the head coach at East Tennessee State University. Will, how you doing?
How many people have to send texts to try to get on air? I mean, I feel like we're going back to 2016 and it's like, please let me get some airtime. But it was so much fun hearing y'all's voice going through Nashville, and couldn't help but call and catch up, and appreciate you guys having me on today. And I heard the fight song. Appreciate that entrance. That was very nice of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's start with the whole fundraising thing. Were you born with that skill?
I don't think I've ever taken a job that hasn't been a necessity. It's kind of like a lot of the battles that you feel like you are winning are in, April through July, when you can raise, $35,000 so your team can take a third bus to an away game, or stay in a hotel the night before an away game, or feed your guys in the summer, or, and that to me, with the jobs that I've taken, Austin Peay, Charlotte, and then here at ETSU, there's a lot of building just kind of a structure and a foundation of what type of experience you want your guys to have. That those are wins for me, and I enjoy those. I enjoy your players not having any idea that you had to go work your rear end off and basically solicit yourself, to go to 9 o'clock dinner and all of a sudden raise $300,000 for summer school, or raise, $20,000 for a coach to be able to hire a tight ends coach, or whatever it is. I've just enjoyed those, because I feel like every one of those is making your program better. And I think those are they're lost nowadays, because everybody just wants to raise $20,000 to go pay a tight end. And I don't know. I don't know how to sit in that chair and not try to fix foundational structural things that, create sustainability down the road. So I really enjoy it. And so I don't know, born to, that's very nice of you to say, but to me, it's a necessity. If you want your program to grow, you have to be willing to go do those things. I've spoke to more Rotary, Kiwanis, whatever clubs you can, I think it's important that people hear our vision and message and meet our players and create accessibility. And when they do that, they'll be willing to get invested.
I'm guessing the most dramatic of all these was the Austin Peay thing. My God, in the first 6 to 9 months, you were a whirlwind.
That place, Austin Peay is what it is now because of Ryan Ivey and Dr. White. You had an AD and you had a president who had a vision and didn't necessarily have the resources, but they knew what they wanted to build. And I think there's kind of some spend money, let's spend kind of – I think there were times where we stretched the limit. There was no doubt, even at times where we probably didn't even have enough to stretch. But when you explained why it was so important, they understood your vision and they were in the battles with you and they fought the fight. And there are so many guys who have come after me who have done Mark Hudspeth did an unbelievable job. Scotty did a heck of a job. Jeff's done an unbelievable job. But to see that program now and what it is, considered a, top 15, 20 job in FCS football is a lot of fun and incredible people there. And they were willing to hire a 30-year-old who had no clue what the heck he was doing and went 0 for his first 13 as a head coach, but still loved us and our family. And that it's an awesome place. And I also knew this, you know this better than anybody. I knew at 30 years old when I took that job, you could not screw that job up any worse than where it already was. Like, it was the perfect first job because, if you only scored 14 points, it was still more than they had scored the year before. If you didn't win a game, it was what they'd done, 4 out of the last 5 seasons. So it was the perfect job to to learn how to be a head coach. And, man, I've screwed it up plenty of times, but no more than I did there in year 1. I can guarantee you that. I captains the first game. I remember we were playing Eastern Kentucky one game, and the scoreboard said they had no timeouts. So I took a knee with 39 seconds on the clock on our own 15-yard line to end the first half, and all of a sudden, I think Mark was the head coach at Eastern Kentucky. Mark Elder was the head coach at Eastern Kentucky, and he called timeout. What's this idiot doing on the other side of the field, taking a knee? I still got a timeout. And I'm like, but guys, the scoreboard says no timeouts. And they're like, yeah, that's scoreboard's wrong, bud. And I think we shanked a punt, and luckily they missed a field goal to end the first half. But anywhere else in the country, you're fired for that. And it was just you had a community that was rallied around, those players and that staff. And that's why it worked. You had great vision from the top. And so, man, that was a cool experience. I don't know that I'll ever go through another season as awesome as 2017. Going from 0-11 to winning 8 out of 9 FCS games and, tearing down the goalpost after the nation's longest losing streak. That was an incredible experience.
I know I'm supposed to talk to you about ETSU, but I got to ask this. What was Gus Malzahn like, and what level of offensive brilliance does that man have that the average coach doesn't?
So, crazy experience going from, you're at Charlotte and first year you make it's the only winning season in school history, and you make a bowl game and you think you're going to get the Baltimore Ravens job and that nobody can tell you anything to, 3 years later you get fired. And when you get fired, then you go take an off the field job with Gus Malzahn, and you basically become his personal Uber driver. Right. And I lived over top of Gus's garage for 4.5 months, and they were unbelievable to me. I moved. My wife and kids went back to Chattanooga and went back to Boyd Buchanan. I moved it to Orlando, and I lived over Gus's garage, and really, the whole thing was about how am I going to be a better assistant this time after having sat in that head chair than I was when I was an assistant at Chattanooga. How can I take stuff off his plate? How can I make sure that I'm supportive of him? And he was awesome. An incredible offensive mind. I remember playing Oklahoma when Venables was obviously there, and man, I mean, grind, right? It was a grind, and we're on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, like 6:00, and I think I've watched every YouTube tutorial that Venables has ever had, and I mean, I've done it all, and all of a sudden Gus is like, "Hey guys, turn on the 2002 Tulsa versus I can't even remember where Brent was.
Yeah.
I don't even remember where he was, but it was the first game that Brent had called against Gus, and he wanted to watch it at 8 p.m. on Thursday night after watching Lord knows, and for Lord knows how long, the amount of film that we watched. It was just, as an offensive play caller, he had a great feel for it. He knew his stuff. He was always prepared and organized, did an unbelievable job recruiting. He was really good with recruits, and so was Christy. So that was really my first and only chance at the Power 4 level. And to watch that transition, SJ Tui was there. He was the head of our collective, and just watching how that collective grew and dealing with all the NIL pieces, it was a great experience for me.
Kelly Holcomb is part of this show. Kelly, have you and Will ever dealt with each other before?
I've never met Will. No, I have not. I remember Coach Donnelly talking about him, but I've never met Coach Healy. Nope.
Well, and he's better off for it.
Well, I'm not saying he's not, and unfortunately, I'm sorry that he knows you as the second time today that I've said that.
Here's the deal. Kelly's met so many famous people, he has no idea who the heck I am. We have met at an award show at one point in time, and it was I think I was one of the guys in the fourth or fifth row asking for his autograph. But we have met, and
have we met? Really?
I know how many. We were at an event with, I think Coach Donnelly was there. He was in Nashville, and I can't remember which hotel, but it was some kind of Floyd Reese event in Nashville at some point in time when I was at all.
Will, you and I went to that. That was the thing Glanville spoke at.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, I get it, man. I was probably 0-11 at that point in time, and you're like, who's this high schooler trying to get my autograph? I get it. I'm totally good with it.
Okay, my bad. Hey, I got to ask you, though, you talked about starting out 0-13, man. Did you ever doubt what you were doing at that point?
We were on the bus. Talk about raising money. We were on the bus. I'd raised money where we could stay in a hotel the night before home games at Austin Peay. And we were playing Morehead State. And I told the guys, I'm not getting new goalposts until we win a game. Our goalposts look like V's. And so we had goalposts came in and we put them under the bleachers, and we broke the attendance record with the nation's longest losing streak. And we told everybody, when we win, we're going to tear down the goalposts. So people it was unbelievable how many people showed up to the Morehead State game. And I don't know exactly what the number was, but I think it was like having lost 56 of 57 games. Okay. And I'm on the bus after we couldn't get the same hotel. So we had to split over two hotels. And so we get everybody on the bus and we're on the way to the game, and we're playing Morehead State, who Lord knows got a ton of respect for, but it was a non-scholarship team. Right. And I'm 0-13 as a head coach. We just been beat by Luke Fickell, his first game at Cincinnati, and Miami of Ohio beat the brakes off of us. And so I'm on the way to the game, and I'm on the front of that bus, and I'm thinking, man, if we don't beat these guys, I may be the only coach who ever retires as a head coach or gets fired as a head coach after having never won a game. And it was the only time in 9 years, 8 years, whatever it is of being a head coach that I ever questioned, like, is this going to work? And then we won 69-13, had like 18 personal foul celebration penalties, smoked cigars in the locker room. And from there, it was like, unleash the beast. Like, let's go. You can do, I mean, you're dadgum Nick Saban. Like, I cried after beating Morehead State. We popped champagne. Ryan Ivey was like, man, this is a football school now. And I was 1 of 13 as a head coach. And, we were rolling.
I mean, hey, that's awesome, man. You talked a little bit about it with George, but just tell us how head coaching responsibilities has changed in the last couple of years with all the stuff that's going on. You always had to be, a guy to go out and get money. I remember Coach Donnelly leaving. Coach Donnelly was really good at that too. I mean, he probably gave you some pointers. I don't know, but he was really good at that stuff too. But like, how has coaching changed in the last couple of years, and have players changed in the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I'm not talented enough to call plays and be a head coach. And I think that some of it is like, hey, if you took the, if you're Billy Napier and you took the James Madison job and the structure's there and the foundation's there to be the top of your league in the Sun Belt, and you feel like you can call an offense or a defense because everything else is, the boosters are there, the money is there, then, maybe that works. I haven't had one of those jobs. And so for me, it's been much more about, like, I call it friend raising and fundraising. Who are the most influential people in that area? Let's get to know them. Let's make sure they're at least fans of what we're doing and say good things about it, whether they give $1 or not. And then let's find out the people who can truly make an impact. That hasn't changed for me here. I think it's really important to hire coordinators. Like for me, I want to put my money in an offensive and a defensive coordinator, an O-line and a D-line coach, right? Like that. And then a strength coach, obviously. I mean, to me, that's arguably maybe the most important position of all of them. The rest of them at the FCS level, you hope that you hire the right guy, and you hope that, 6 months from now, they're taking the Tennessee job as a wideouts coach, and you've struck gold, right? That somebody has to take a picture of your staff and say, how the heck were all those guys at ETSU at this point in time? Kind of up and coming guys. So that piece hasn't changed for me. I think the biggest thing about it is, like, we have 53 new players, and I think that's probably going to be on average 50 to 55 guys. Somebody asked me the other day about a formula, and to me, at our place, this is what I would say in 2 years. You have 75 guys that are receiving some type of financial aid. You're going to lose 25 to graduation. You're going to lose 15 because they're good enough to go up, and you're going to lose 15 because they're not good enough to play here. So that leaves you with, you're going to have to sign 55 guys every year. And I think that the biggest thing about it is, how can you make sure that they have a 1990 type of experience at your place, where they care about one another, where they go through mat drills, where fall camp is hard, where they're pushed to the limit, where they learn characteristics that are bigger than the game of football, but also you're doing it with 55 guys every single year that, may not know each other and may not go 3 or 4 years with one another. I think, like, unless you have the mindset right now of what a cool opportunity it is for me to have 55 new players where you can make an impact on them each and every year, that you didn't have this same opportunity 8 or 9 years ago, I think this profession will drive you nuts. Like, you'll get so ticked off about, man, it's money, and man, it's transfer, and man, it's this and that. Like, we don't have that kind of money. The guys are going to leave here when they have a chance to go make, from going from us giving you an extra $1,000 a month or $1,000 a year to pay for a meal plan. Now you're making $100,000 in a year. Well, I mean, I don't have a coach on staff who wouldn't leave for that job. So why am I mad at you for leaving for that? Right. And to me, it's just like, why are you in it? Well, here's the cool part about it for me is I got 55 new guys that I think they can learn something bigger than football. And I think that the mat drills are the same. The accountability that they want is the same. But it's so important to recruit a guy who really wants what you have to offer. We're not signing a guy because we're going to be able to pay him more money. We're signing a guy because they want to play, they want to produce, they want to win, and they're like they believe in what you believe in, positivity and energy and relationships, and if that doesn't fit, just be transparent with them from the get-go and wish them well and let them go play somewhere else. Be okay with that, but just sign the right kind of people. Long-winded, Kelly. What else? What was your second end of the question?
No. You answered it. I just want and you kind of answered it right there. But how? Well, my last thing is it frustrating to you, or is it just something that with the new rules of college football? Is it frustrating to you to develop a kid and then him have a great year and go on about his business, and you kind of just answer that?
No, it's not at all. We're single A baseball, man. When they get a chance to go up to double A, they're going to go up to double A. Now, I'm a little bit crazy, and you're not going to like this being a Blue Raider, right? But I don't want to lose a group of 5 or group of 6 or whatever the heck it is, right? I don't want to lose a group of 6 battle. I don't want to lose a group of 6 battle to a player or to a staff member. I want to sign a group of 6 roster. If we were to go play a group of 6 school, I would expect it to be toe-to-toe. And you may be able to offer $25,000, $30,000 more, but ultimately at the end of the game, here's what I'm telling you, okay? You can go to a Sunbelt school, a Conference USA school, an AAC school, and you can make $75,000, and it's $72,000 more than what you're going to make here. But if you come here and play 450 snaps and you produce and you're an all-conference guy, I will go help you make $400,000 12 months from now. Okay. That's part of the recruiting decision now, right? It's you've got to be willing to see a vision. First off, we're going to win, right? We hope that we'll have opportunities to win 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever, however many it is games, which is part of an experience, have a chance to truly compete for a national title. The other thing about it is, listen, there were 257 NFL draft picks. 239 came from the Power 4 conferences. 11 came from the group of 5. It was either 11 or 13. 4 came from the FCS. So the days of saying you need to be a group of 5 guy to be able to go to the NFL, those days are gone. It's Power 4 or bust. We can get you there just as fast as anybody can. And we also have a chance to win a lot of football games. So to me, that's part of the recruiting pitch. And when they get that opportunity, you need to understand it's going on. Some agents trying to make 10% off of what they're doing. They're getting advice to go play at a bigger, better spot. And you need to be okay with it because you did your job and what you promised actually happened.
Coach, I like to say that, even group of 5 coaches, even FCS coaches, I feel like oftentimes that they get punished because if they do a good job developing their team and going out and winning football games, the next year they're just poached by a higher level, whether that's FCS going to group of 5 or group of 5 going to the Power 4. Do you feel that way at all?
That a coach or that a player?
A coach. The coach is oftentimes getting punished because if he does a good job, his players just get poached the next year by a different school.
But, let's be honest. If that same coach had a chance to go make 10 times the amount of money to go to the group of 5, would he leave?
Sure.
So why are we mad at them?
Good question.
I'm going to pay you $5,000. They're going to pay you $100,000, and I'm mad at you for leaving our place. Unless you have, in my opinion, here's how I'm dealing with it. I'm not saying that I got all the answers. All you got to do is look at my career record, and George can tell you I don't have all the answers. Here's how I'm dealing with it. I have a chance for 55 new guys every time they come into our program who I can truly invest 12 months of my life into making sure by the time they leave our place, they have the right type of habits. They can survive and thrive in any social setting that they're in, that they have been pushed, that I've told them the truth, and that what I've promised them would happen at our place actually happens. It is, how do I put the best staff and the best roster I can together for the 2026 season, and I'll worry about 2027 whenever it gets here. Meanwhile, like being where your feet are as a staff and as a player. Like if you don't do a great job here, you ain't going to have a job. I don't care if you're the defensive end or the defensive coordinator. So do an unbelievable job of where you are, be committed to where you are. And at the end of the day, when we get to December, man, let's discuss what you think is best for your future from a staff perspective and from a player perspective. And I am totally at peace with that. Like, it's not just, hey man, that's where we are and I just got to buy into it. It's like, that's where my head is. It's just like, what a cool opportunity we have to make an impact on a lot of different dudes from a lot of different places who've been at Michigan and UCF and Tennessee and all these different places. I want them when they leave here to be like, man, I was at Tennessee for 4 years, but my experience at ETSU was better than all of them. And that's my goal, man. The chance to go back to homecoming, I'm going to ETSU.
So, Coach, Kelly and I are both former quarterbacks. I played at a school up in Chicago, and I just wanted to end the interview with some X's and O's talk. How would you describe your offensive philosophy?
Well, last year, so our offense coordinator did an unbelievable job. He was with Lane at Ole Miss, and we were all tempo, man. We were fast as fast can be. And we broke every offensive record that the schools had. How about this? Y'all love this. Last game of the year, I take 2 knees because I'm trying to run the clock out, and I take 2 knees for -7 yards apiece. Our stats guy did not let us know that we had broken the single season offensive record by 9 yards. So the 2 knees cost us, we lost it by 5 yards. And I was like, we won the game, guys. This is the epitome of who we are. Just win. So we were all tempo. It was it was Lane's offense. It was Lane's terminology. What I would like to get to more of this year is I want to get to some more shifts, motions, huddle, be better in 4-minute situations. I think we'll be a lot better on the offensive line. And so I think that it's going to be heavy run, play action pass. We've got 3 different quarterbacks that are competing for the job. One of them is Jaden Davis. It was a 5-star quarterback out of high school out of Providence Day. He was the backup at Michigan for 2 years. Another one's Mason Mims. It was at Louisville. And the third is Jake McNamara. That's the brother of Cade McNamara who played for us last year. So how much RPO stuff we do depends on who's the starting quarterback. But yeah, it's run, play, action, pass, use tempo after first downs. Control the line of scrimmage, 7-man protect when we need to take shots down the field. None of this 5-man protect, 4 vert stuff. Man, we're going to make sure the quarterback's protected and play with pace whenever it helps us as an advantage. Are you okay with that? Where are you interviewing me for right now?
I just wanted to know. I'm fascinated about the X's and O's stuff. So
I love it. Hey, unfortunately,
we got.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
No, I was just wondering. Is this a Titans interview or, am I CPA? I'll go work for Ingle anytime. Ingle won't hire me as the OC, so that's an issue.
How about the Braves?
Man, hey, we got right now. I am T-minus 5 minutes away from a 7-year-old baseball game. And he's also part of the Braves country. So we're going to a Braves game on I think it's the 19th of June. Our boys are fired up.
I'm going to call you after. By the way, great interview. Thank you for doing this. When we go to the commercial break, I'm going to holler at you.
Hey, tell the legend of Florida football, Chris Doering, I said hello to, okay?
We will pass that on.
Thank you, guys. Y'all are awesome.
Absolutely. Will Healy, head football coach at East Tennessee State University, joining us after the break. Chris Doering, mostly with Kelly Holcomb. Stay tuned.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
About 3 different interviews that are going to be absolute head knockers. Eddie Nunez, athletic director at the University of Houston, Will Healy, the head football coach at East Tennessee State, and we know how good Chris Doering is. Enough said right there. Parker, I got to ask, is he ready?
He's ready to go.
Okay. Kelly, the floor is yours. I'm going to shut up, which is to everybody's benefit.
Christopher, what's up, man?
And anytime I see a text that includes the opportunity to be back with my my former roommate when we travel, man, you know I'm always here for you, bro.
How you doing, buddy? How's things going in Florida, man?
Good, man. It's an interesting time of year. You know, spring practice kind of in the rearview mirror. Not sure that we get the access that we used to have the information that we could use more than ever about who is what. You know, after the transfer portal and what teams are going to look like. But I've actually been working on a project that Peter Burns and I are kind of doing this spring, where we're getting a chance to travel and meet the new coaches and the new jobs here in the SEC. So 6 of those, one of them we know well with Lane Kiffin, haven't been around the league, but you know, I've already done 3 interviews with John Summerall, with Will Stein up in Lexington, and last week we went and visited with Ryan Silverfield at Arkansas. So heading to see Coach Golish here later in the week, and then on to Oxford for Pete Golding.
So I asked a guy the other day, what do you think about all those coaches that you just talked about? Like I think there were 6 new coaches in the SEC this year. Who do you think has the best opportunity this year to be successful? You know, I know we got Lane Kiffin at LSU, but maybe other than Lane, you know, just group those other ones in. Which ones do you think will be the most successful?
Let me start there, though, with the Lane Kiffin thing, because I honestly believe that of everybody in this league, I think the pressure on Lane Kiffin may be the greatest. We're talking about a $91 million contract that he signed, a ton of money devoted to the coaching pool for his assistants, what they've spent in, roster construct north of $40 million reportedly. Like, this is, I think, a season that you look at, it's either pass or fail. You either make the college football playoff or the season's a failure. And if you look at the schedule, I think it's going to be very difficult. 10-2 last year did not get Vanderbilt in. So to say that a 10-2 record is a lock would be a little misleading. I think 10-2 probably gets them in, given the schedule that LSU has to face. But I don't know if you can do it this year. First year in a place with a bunch of new faces, a quarterback that's coming off of a Liz Frank injury that's in a new system. I think the bar is set really high. So I think there's an extraordinary amount of pressure on Lane Kiffin and the LSU Tigers in his first year there. But I honestly believe that, I think the rest of the coaches, I think it's been really good fits. When you talk about a coaching hire, you talk about fit. And I think, right here in my backyard, John Summerall is a guy that fits really well. A lot of criticism over the last couple of years for Billy Napier and his lack of enthusiasm and energy on the sideline. John Summerall has no shortage of that, as you know, Kelly, having been around him in previous years. I've fallen in love with that dude. He loves the fact that he's the head coach at the University of Florida, has played in this league, has coached in this league, has the pedigree. And, I think this is a year where Florida can jump considerably from the win total that they had last year at 4. I think they could double that this year. And again, a little challenging schedule, as is everybody's in the SEC, but I think it's a little easier than it was last year. So I think Florida has the most to gain, but I really do believe, I think Will Stein's a great fit there as a guy from Kentucky whose father played at the University of Kentucky. Even though Will played at Louisville, he understands the dynamic in that state. Ryan Silverfield is somebody that, I think is a little misunderstood. You get a chance to know him, and you feel like there's some contagious energy around the program in Fayetteville. Alex Golesh, seems to have said all the right things during his coaching press conference. And inevitably, we're probably going to be here in 3 years, and a couple of these guys are going to be on the hot seat or maybe already gone. But I feel like this was a really good year for hiring the right guys for the right jobs.
So I want to go back to your backyard because I was around John Summerall, and the guy is an unbelievable guy. I've listened to my son talk about him, how he's up front with guys. He's really honest. He's really good at communicating, and everywhere he's been. He started out at Troy, won 2 Sun Belt championships. Then he went to Tulane. He won 1 of 2. So, wherever he's been, he's won. And, some of the guys that he brought are former middle guys. Like, Buster Faulkner was the offensive coordinator here. Joe Craddock, played here and is now the quarterback coach there. You got Mike Pauley, who I think is a tight ends coach. But, seeing those guys in spring, and I know you said you didn't have all the access that you normally have, but seeing those guys in spring, what do you make of offense, defense, special teams? What do you make of their team?
Yeah, I went out to a couple practices here in Gainesville during the spring and felt like a lot of juice out there for sure. And that Summerall's going to bring that. But, you talk about the authenticity. I thought he did a great job of roster retention, keeping a running back like Jaden Baugh around, keeping Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown around, getting Jaden Woods to get his name back out of the portal to come back, Miles Graham on defense. Like, there's just a lot of really good players that, have bought into the vision that John Summerall has shared with the team. And so I think there's a lot of excitement there, coupled with some guys that went out and got through the portal, including Aaron Philo, who was Georgia Tech transfer. This coaching staff, you mentioned Buster Faulkner knows Philo very well. He's in the midst of a quarterback competition with a guy that Florida signed last year. So, I think they're in good shape there. But, man, Florida keeps all that talent. They had 7 guys get drafted in the NFL draft, which I think was the 3rd or 4th most of all the SEC programs, and yet you only won 4 games last year. I think that's a real indictment of kind of what was going on last season, and I think it has Florida fans feeling really optimistic going into this year.
So let's just talk about, you've talked about some of the coaches, obviously, but talk about how do you see the SEC panning out this year, from top to bottom. Who do you think is the favorite? Who do you think is going to struggle? Just talk a little bit about the SEC coming up this year.
Yeah, I mentioned LSU and the pressure that's on the Tigers. I think there's a lot of pressure on Pete Golding and Ole Miss. I mean, with what Pete Golding did to take over that team and win 2 playoff games and have them on the verge of going to a national championship game, you get Keywan Lacey back, your outstanding running back. You get Trinidad Chambliss back, who you're paying a ton of money to. A number of other faces on the defensive side. I think there's a lot of pressure for Ole Miss to live up to, and so I'm curious whether they can kind of retain that lightning in the bottle that they were able to catch last year. Inevitably, I think there's going to be a surprise team that takes a step forward. Like last year, 2 years ago, Tennessee kind of came out of nowhere and made the college football playoff. Last year you had Vanderbilt win 10 games, albeit that didn't get them into the playoff, but there were a number of teams that you felt like kind of pushed into that upper tier. I'm curious to see who that could be this season. I mean, maybe it is LSU, but I'm anxious to see what Alabama does. I think there's after those two I mentioned before, I think there's a lot of pressure on Kalen DeBoer. Not that he's on the hot seat, but being the coach at Alabama always brings pressure along with it. And I love the fact that Greg Byrne, the athletic director, went out and signed him to an extension, which a lot of people say may not have been necessary, but I think they did a great job in doing the impossible, and that's filling the shoes of Coach Saban, maybe the greatest to ever do it in college football. So I'm anxious to see what Alabama can be this year. But I do think it's kind of the usual suspects, albeit, Georgia has gotten a little exposed in the last couple of years for maybe losing a little bit of the physicality that they were once known for. But I think it's just a great illustration of the redistribution of talent because of the transfer portal and NIL. You don't have the ability to load your second and third string guys with the same size, fit, and ability that your first string guys do. So you get a wrong a wrong injury at the wrong position, or you have a situation where you're not able to rotate as deep as you were before. Those things show themselves, and I think Georgia the last couple of years has kind of been a victim of that. So I think they'll be there again, but I don't know that there is the real elite team in the conference like there once was. But I think, again, that's from the top to bottom, the cannibalism that takes place now with 9 conference games in the regular season. I think fans are going to have to kind of redefine what a successful season looks like in the SEC.
I think you're absolutely right on that. So let's get a little bit closer to home. Us being in the Nashville area, being in Nashville. Give us a little bit about Vandy. I mean, last year was the first year they've ever won 10 games. Diego Pavia played really well. He did that for 2 years in a row. They lost him. Can Vandy keep it up? They've got this young guy that's a freshman that, he played. I did a couple of state championship games, Jared Curtis, and everybody's talking about him. And, we had Clark Lee on the show, and, he's going to have to go out and earn it. But what do you think about the Vanderbilt Commodores, and can they keep up what they've accomplished so far under the Clark Lee era?
Yeah, I mean, I love Clark Lee. I think, as you probably do, when you have a chance to talk to him, you can't help but kind of fall in love with the guy. And the fact that he is now coaching at the school he played at, the passion that he has for his university, the vision that he and Candace Story-Lee had, and kind of building this thing out, what they've done to support the football program with all of the facility upgrades. Like, this is kind of what I imagined Nashville could be, like what Vanderbilt could be like. I mean, you think about when the Oilers came to Nashville and became the Titans, like the country music crowd got on board, and it was like a who's who going to those games. And then the Preds, kind of the same thing. I've always felt like if Vandy put a stadium together that was fun for folks to go to on Saturdays and put a product on the field that was entertaining, that people outside of the Vanderbilt fan base would show up. And I feel like that happened with what Clark Lee did to bring in not only Diego Pavia, but Eli Stowers and that offense from New Mexico State with Tim Beck and Jerry Kill. Like it really was a lot of fun. And so, can they keep that up? I hope they can, but I believe in Clark Lee. It's a grind. I don't know if any team, that's what's so hard about it. You worry about Vandy maybe missing their opportunity. They do everything they possibly could, win 10 games, and it's not enough. I don't know if they can do that again this year, particularly without somebody like Diego Pavia, who was the catalyst. But, I love the fact that they're able to get a quarterback in Curtis that was so highly recruited that was thought to go to Georgia and then decides to come to Nashville and Vanderbilt. I think it just is a great example of what NIL it can do for programs like Vanderbilt in a metropolitan area like Nashville. No reason why they can't have a roster that competes with some of the best in the SEC.
So talk a little bit about the team up east, the team in East Tennessee, the Tennessee Volunteers. It's one of these deals where Josh Heupel does not have an experienced quarterback, and he went out and he couldn't get a guy like he did last year, but he's got two young guys, and George McIntyre and the Faison Brandon kid, who they said is going to be really good. But just some of the questions that they have this coming up year, they've got a new defensive coordinator, which I think is really going to help them. They've been stout up front the last couple of years, but the defensive coordinator that they had, they got rid of him and they brought the guy in from Penn State. But just what do you think about the Tennessee Vols and the outlook for this coming up season?
Yeah, I think that was a great get defensively. The drop off from their playoff season to last year on the defensive side under Tim Banks was crazy, but I don't know if you could get a more respected coach than what they went to get in Jim Knowles. From the standpoint, here's what I want to see, Kelly, and I know you'll agree with me on this. I think Tennessee, when they play teams that they are equal to in talent or better than, they win. I've described them a little bit as bullies. They beat up on the teams they should. But when they play a team that's as physical, it matches them in physical skill, size, and everything else, they're not as consistent. I want to see them be a more physical team on the lines of scrimmage. I want to see them push some teams around and beat teams that, maybe they're not as talented as. And I think there's been a criticism in the past of Josh Heupel's offense being a little bit too finesse at times. I don't want to go as far as to say that because they're able to put up tremendous numbers, but I do want to see a little more consistency at the receiver position. Too many drops the last couple of years. And I want to see them. This is an offense that's based on being able to run the football. That's first and foremost in what they do. So I want to see a little more physicality on the lines of scrimmage from the Vols.
Okay, I think I'm there. Chris, I need you to get more excited about football.
Do I not? It's May right now. I'm trying to save a little bit in the tank, but it is hard to think that we're 108 days away from SEC football, somewhere in that range, and it'll be here before we know it. So I'm just trying to make sure I get in the extracurriculars outside of the football season between now and then.
Oh, no, you were in mid-August form, whether you know it or not, and it was fun to just sit back and listen to it. I don't do that very often, but I really appreciate you taking the time to come on with us.
Oh, anytime, man. I love being on with you guys, love reconnecting with Kelly, and happy to do it any day, man.
Chris, have a good one. Have a good summer.
See you, brother.
You. Take care. See you, man.
Chris Doering has turned into a terrific broadcaster with the SEC Network. I think he is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated of who they've got out there in their state.
He's really good, man. He's really good. He's really smart. People don't understand how smart Chris is, man. He's a smart guy. He keeps up with things. We my wife and his wife, we grew up together in Indianapolis, and we used to watch Jeopardy every night. And I could never beat the guy. The guy is like brilliant, which is not hard. I mean, I understand I'm from Fayetteville, but he's really good. I've told him that before. Just listening to him on the SEC Network, he is really good at what he does.
We'll go to a final break on the show. When we come back, a couple of thoughts about things he said, and then plaster bets of the day. Got two of them. We need a victory on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Are you tired of living with back pain? What would you do if the pain was gone?
At the Dr. Gill Center, we've helped thousands of people over the last 30 years break free from pain and get back to living life. We're committed to your outcomes, and our caring team listens, understands, and offers real solutions to neuropathy, back pain, and joint pain without unnecessary surgery or medication. Choose the clinic that listens. Choose the clinic that cares. Call the Dr. Gill Center today at 615-882-4838.
Let's make your pain-free life a reality.
Baseball is just like music. You don't believe me? Let me show you. It's jazz, improvised, and unpredictable. It's rock. The crowd explodes like a guitar through a wall of amps. It's rap, fast, sharp, all rhythm and timing. It's country, nothing but 3 outs and the truth. Do you believe me now? Look, no matter what music you're into, the hottest track in town, Nashville Sounds Baseball. Welcome to Hit City.
Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. Provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
So tomorrow we will probably leave a lot more time for phone calls. Sometimes scheduling is not the perfect science. And today we overloaded and it was great.
Won't complain.
I enjoyed it, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it today, man. I think we've had some really good guests. Will Healy was really good.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
You know, Eddie Nunez was really good, man. That was awesome to get an AD on here, and then Chris. You know, I could have talked. I wish we could have kept going because I had a lot more questions for Chris, man. But I know time constraints.
Big one you didn't get to ask.
I just wanted to ask him because, you know, the SEC is a prideful conference. But in my opinion, the SEC has been overshadowed now the last couple of years by the Big Ten. And I was just going to ask him what his thoughts are because he's SEC through and through. Obviously, he's employed by the SEC on the SEC network. But I just want to get his thoughts on that. And I wanted to get his thoughts on the 2014 playoff, what he thought about, you know, what his thoughts were on having 24 teams realistically be in the college football playoff.
So, Kelly, I'm convinced that right now this is a monkey see, monkey do world. All of these conferences, all of these people that are starting to load up on the 2014 playoff, part of it is that they believe that, you know, if I get in the playoff, they can't fire me.
That's exactly why they're saying that. That's exactly why they voted that in.
Which is a fallacy.
But the other thing is if the Big Ten had not been dominating the way they have been, we'd be going to 16. 24 is stupid. It makes no sense. People with a brain know that. And yet there's this monkey see, monkey do. The Big Ten, man, they're the one controlling everything. And they say 24, so we're going 24. It's stupid.
I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where this ends, George, but 24 teams is a lot, man. And like if you go to one big super conference, I promise you, and we just said it. That's all these coaches think that, hey, if we get 24 teams and we got more teams in this playoff and I get in, I've got at least another year or two that I've got on my contract. Well, I'm like Parker. I think that's a fallacy, but that's the way they think. That's why they wanted to do that.
And we hear nothing but good things about this 24 team playoff coming from the commissioners, the athletic directors. If it's so good, if 24 teams is so good, why stop there? Why not keep expanding, right? I mean, it's such, these arguments are just terrible that they're using.
It'll take them forever to achieve this playoff, this 24-team monster. Just start doing the math on it. It could take forever. Okay, tomorrow we'll probably do a lot more phone calls than we have today. And so normally I try to leave some time. It just didn't work out today. Let's get to the important business at hand to end the day, because, Kelly, we do want to make people money.
Excellence, baby.
Yes. Look at that record, Kelly. That is excellence.
It is excellence, George. I know
Why
the
don't
week was a
you-
little rough. The
Why
week
don't you
was a
go-
little rough.
Why don't you go suck an egg?
Oh, I have some thoughts on these upcoming bets.
Well, I don't really care, okay, because your name's not on it, okay? You just kind of pop up with, oh, I've got one, but we never see the next day. Kelly, 0-6.
It wasn't 0-6. Okay, I had a couple wins, all right?
Yeah.
It was bad, though.
It was really bad. It was embarrassing, to be honest. Let's get to the business at hand. Let's start with this one. This is the craziest series known to man. Home ice has meant virtually nothing. So why am I taking Buffalo? I don't know, other than at some point, home ice has got to matter. Tonight's the night. By the way, they pounded Montreal on Saturday night. From the middle of the second period on, the health department should have been called in. That was a beating.
Yeah, it was bad.
Woo.
It was real bad.
Buffalo, let's go Sabres.
I'm rooting for Buffalo, but Kelly, you know what I said at the beginning of the show?
Kelly could care less what you think.
I don't think
Yeah,
he cares
true.
what either of us think.
I think that there's a lot of
It's
truth to that. I don't think he cares about yours. I do think he spends time rooting against me, which is
You can
very
say that.
disturbing.
You can say that.
The second play, I don't know. I mean, these are the two best teams in the West. For San Antonio to win in OKC, Victor Wembanyama has to be a huge factor, not just on the offensive end, but he's got to hurt Oklahoma City with the defense as well. I just think OKC is going to win. Tony Basilio tomorrow. Hopefully more on the Super Bowl coming to our city. We deserve it. See you tomorrow.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bob.